Hi, this is Tracy with Watch Kansas, and today on Talking to Tracy, we are talking to Amy Cawvey again. I'm sure you remember Amy Cawvey from our prior shows, both with me and also with Tony Barton on Be Courageous. Now, Amy is making a very aggressive move for our children in the Lansing School District. She's running for the Lansing School Board. She's been on Fox News, she's been on some other TV programs, and she has been very widely lauded for her amazing work on keeping our children free. Amy, do you want to tell us just a little bit about what you've been working on?
Oh, well, thank you, Tracy, for having me. Well, when I first decided to run, I didn't expect to have all of this attention on a school board race. But unfortunately, when you come out against critical race theory, it draws a lot of negative attention, especially from your opponents, and also some of the teachers, and also some of the parents, actually. But for the most part, I've received a great deal of support. And because the issue has taken off across the country, that's why I got some of the calls I did from Fox News. Some people are under the impression that it's mostly an East Coast thing or other states like out in California, but it's actually all of the states across the country, even in the Midwest, that have a problem with CRT being implemented into the schools, whether it's officially or whether the parents want to keep it out of the districts, or it has already been implemented but denied by some of the administrators, and some of the parents are bringing that to light. There's a lot of groups that have been formed across the country, people that are also running for school board. Moms for Liberty is a group that was formed and now have chapters in several states. They have been attending school board meetings, speaking up against CRT, and there's even been a PAC that was created to help support school board members running. That was created by Ryan Godowski, and I got to know him a little bit, and he's out of New York, and he has just committed his time to try to help people run for the school board across the country to try to stand up against the indoctrination of our kids.
Now, critical race theory. I've talked about this with a few of my friends. A lot of my friends look like me and you.
Yeah.
They're light.
Yeah.
White. A lot of them are Hispanic. A lot of my friends are black. But that's just a skin color. The same as you've got blonde hair and mine's dyed because it's gray. What does this matter? What is the big deal? Why are they trying to take Martin Luther King's dream, which we were really close to accomplishing, closer than we've ever been, that people were judged by the content of their character and not what they look like, and all of a sudden, why do teachers, administrators, why do they want to teach the kids that what they look like matters and they're not as good? Or they're oppressors, or trying to say that because you're black you can't accomplish things. I've got great friends of all colors that have accomplished massive things. I've got white friends that have accomplished very little, and I've got white friends that have accomplished massive things. I've got black friends and Hispanic friends that have accomplished very little, and they're happy with where they're at. And I've got some that are, hey, we've got some that are senators and representatives from Kansas. They've accomplished a lot. Why do people want to turn around and say this matters?
Exactly. Well, it's because CRT is based on a Marxist ideology, and Marxism seeks to divide and to create different classes of people and create division and have them fight amongst each other. Their goal at the end is to overthrow whatever, whether it be a country, for instance. That's why the 1619 Project is often mentioned when you talk about CRT, because they want to, the 1619 Project states that the country was not actually founded in 1776, that it was founded when slaves were brought to our country in 1619, and that our country was founded on racism. They want to attack our very constitution and founding of our country, and they want it rebuilt. Marxism does the same thing with CRT. They want to cause division and have all of the institutions in our country be brought down and rebuilt a different way.
But now if you're going to study history at all, black slaves were more noted because you look at them, and for most of the Americans at the time, or colonials at the time, were white because of where they came from. There were some Spaniards,
Yeah.
and so they were a little darker, and there were some of the Native Americans that had joined up and become more like the colonists in some cases.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they were white.
Yeah.
So the African slaves look different.
Yeah.
Are we going to completely forget about the European slaves?
Yeah. Exactly.
Doesn't that teach that the European slaves never existed? What difference did it make if you're a slave, if you're a slave? Slavery's always existed,
Yeah.
and it's seldom based on race.
Yeah, that's right, and it doesn't teach a accurate history of that. And also, part of the argument, the counter argument against CRT is people say if you're against CRT that you don't want to teach the true history of our country, which includes negative aspects like slavery.
Sure.
But with that, you can also teach the accomplishments of Black Americans throughout our history and how our country fought a civil war and ended slavery, and many hundreds of thousands of our United States citizens died to end slavery. And
The white ones, right?
yes, and blacks
Predominantly,
fought.
yeah.
Black people also fought with the North against that, and
Because slavery, no matter what color you are, is an abomination.
exactly, it is. And it's not that we don't want to teach accurate history. It has nothing to do with teaching the history on that. It's just
Right.
teaching that it's someone that this country is still inherently racist, and that you have to look at someone based on their race as opposed to their accomplishments. They want equity for their race instead of equality. Everyone should have the equal opportunity to succeed in life, the equal opportunity to an education. But that isn't what CRT teaches. They want to change that to equity. They want the same outcome. And that takes from others, and it just distributes. It can go all the way to distributing wealth, to distributing land, to distributing grades. Just like socialism, it doesn't incentivize for children to succeed in school when they know that they're going to all have the same grades, the same result, despite their effort. That's why socialism fails in all of the countries.
100% of the
yeah.
time.
Mhm.
There is no country that has ever not failed it. You know, the family unit. Socialism is everybody for the one in your family.
Yeah.
If someone walks in and says, I've got $1,000, how do we want to spend it?
Yeah.
Or it's you and your husband, just one daughter at home right now?
Oh, yeah, we have a daughter
Right.
at home. We have 2 adult children.
Right.
Also.
But so they walk into your house and I say, here's $1,000.
Yeah.
How you want to spend it? Do you have one idea?
Yeah, of course.
Does your husband have a different idea?
Of course. Yeah.
Think your daughter might want some new school clothes?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so even when you're looking at the smallest unit, everybody doesn't always have the greater good in mind. Sometimes we're all
Yeah.
selfish human beings.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want something for yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you have to negotiate it. So if we can't be completely socialistic and it succeed with 3 people, how are we supposed to do it with the country?
Yeah. Exactly.
I think that maybe the unemployment, right now we're talking about unemployment. Prior to one of our friends had to close a business
Yeah.
because they just didn't have enough. They had plenty of customers. They didn't
Yeah.
have any help because so many of their employees had quit and they
Yeah.
were getting unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
And they were getting the state unemployment and the federal extra unemployment.
Yeah.
And so they're all of a sudden they just didn't want to go back
Yeah.
to work.
There's no
And that's a lot
incentive to work.
in places. Exactly. So when it comes down to this, doesn't that automatically show that when everybody doesn't have to work towards a goal, that nobody's, or not nobody, a large chunk of people won't?
Exactly.
Because you like get up and go do what we need to do every day.
Yeah. And it also it promotes the idea to these minority children that they can't accomplish that because of their race. I mean, to me, that is racist itself. You can't tell someone
That is
that they
the
cannot
worst.
work hard and achieve the American dream just because of the color of the skin. To me, that is just a terrible thing to teach children. And one of the books that came to light that I found that our school had purchased even mentioned that if a teacher in a class, this is what the book said, that they they had bought for 8th graders. It said that if a teacher in a class did not specifically treat children based on their race, that they are running a white supremacist classroom because they are not separating and identifying them by their race. I mean, this is garbage that they purchased for our children with tax money.
Kansas, I have a question. Feel free to comment below. Do you want me to judge you by what you look like? If you're white, do you feel like you can accomplish anything only based on the color of your skin? If you're black or Hispanic, do you feel like you can't do anything because of the color of your skin? Make sure you reach out to your local school boards and let them know that you do not agree with race-based education.
Yes, exactly. We have school board elections coming up in November. We just had a primary in Lansing. Me and Jeff Bolin and Mary Wood, we took the top 3 spots, but yay, but we do need your help. And we've been attacked. We've been called racist, white supremacist. They're coming out, swinging at us. They don't want this. And at first I couldn't understand why the teacher, just a few, not all. When I say teachers, there was just a few that came out so opposed to this. And then once we started to uncover some of the lesson plans and books, now we understand. And we have to keep CRT out of our schools.
Okay, Amy, we've got Kansas watching, and people from all over the state are likely to see this. This is a very expensive campaign, way more expensive than most school boards because of what's at stake. Where can they donate to?
You can send me a donation to my home address if you would like. Amy Cawvey, my home address is 286 Ash Lane, ASH Lane, Lansing, Kansas 66043. You can make it out to Amy Cawvey, that's C-A-W-V-E-Y, at school for school board. Or you can go onto my Facebook page, which is Amy Cawvey for Lansing School Board, and I have a Venmo where you can scan that and donate that way if you prefer. And you can always give me a text or a call at my phone number 808-265-1977, and we can work together to do that. But definitely we do need donations. We need signs, we need push cards for walking, advertising to get the word out. We need to stop this now and get those seats on the school board.
Okay, now for the people that are local, it's a beautiful season right now. Great time to get some exercise in. All these military, we know these military folks are definitely used to get their exercise in, and the rest of us doesn't hurt us either. Now, you're walking 2 or 3 days a week?
Yes,
at least?
walking, lots of hours of walking, lots of houses. We plan to hit at least 1,500, 2,000 houses, hopefully more. We're hoping to get a big turnout, so we need volunteers to help with walking. We need volunteers to help with putting signs out. Anything that you are able to do. Even if you can't walk or help us with signs, tell 10 of your friends and neighbors in Lansing. Pass on our information, and then remind them on November 2nd to vote, because turnout is going to be a key in this election. And vote for the 3 conservatives, Cawvey, Bolin, and Wood.
Without a doubt. Now, has it made it a little more fun running with people that you are like-minded with and you're friends with? And
it has. We can kind
of a little more energy.
Yeah, we work together and we promote each other, and we take turns being, taking arrows for all of us. They go from one to the other to pick on. But also, for instance, if I would be elected, I'm 1 vote on the board, and you have to work collaboratively with the rest of the board. So with 3 seats open, it would be good to take those 3 seats so you know that you have 3 voices as opposed to just 1, and then work with the others on the board to try to convince them, of what you think is right. And then of course you'll have to listen to what they think is right too and come to an answer. But as opposed to just having 1 seat on the board, if all 3 of us make it, we have a much better chance of changing things up.
Now, we don't have to name names because we don't want to call anybody out necessarily. Is there anybody that's staying on the board for right now that you feel that with a little bit of encouragement with other people that are there, that they would have potentially be braver and have the courage to have a different vote, to vote with you if they had someone and they weren't the lone person?
Yeah, I do think that there's at least 1, so we could have the majority 4 to 3 on some of these conservative issues. And I say conservative, and they say they don't want you to bring politics into the race, but you can use your conservative values in all sorts of ways. I don't want political ideologies brought into the school either way, but the conservative measure is to teach the basics. We don't need to teach your political ideologies to the children. We don't need to teach CRT. We have kids who, less than 30% are college ready when they graduate. We have kids that are performing at the majority at below grade level. So we just need to focus on those.
Okay, guys, and not for the first time this has happened to us, but we have a train getting ready to go by, so we're going to wrap this up. This is Tracy and Amy on Talking to Tracy with Watch Kansas. Thank you, Kansas, and you have a great day.
Thank you.